Wilson, and today I want to explore the question, who was the first Dragon Warrior? You see, before Poe became the Dragon Warrior 1,000 years ago, there was a dark entity who was corrupted by the powers given to him by the universe, and that Kung Fu warrior was the original Dragon Master. Now, during the age when the first Dragon Warrior began his life, China was in chaos. There were vicious demons and dangerous warriors existing all across the land, but there were also people studying the fabric of the universe who were rising up to fight off the evil. Of course, the first amongst the heroes was a young tortoise named Oogway, whose meditation practices allowed him to connect with the universe and witness the secrets of the natural world. He found inner peace, and he discovered the self-defense system of Kung Fu. Now, this is all important because Oogway not only chose Poe to become the next Dragon Warrior, but his early journey also led him to meet and train the original Dragon Master. You see, in hopes of forging peace across China, Oogway led a great army with his brother-in-arms General Kai, and when Oogway became seriously injured, the duo found a secret panda village. It was an ancient place of healing, as the community had been built above an endless fountain of power known as the Wellspring. This pool was the source of all chi in the universe, and the pandas were empowered by its chi so that they could be the Wellspring's guardians. Those panda guardians taught Oogway and Kai how to master chi, and unfortunately, as we all know, Kai became corrupted by his longing to acquire power and chi from everyone around him, leading to Oogway to banish him to the spirit realm. After that devastating event, I assume Oogway's journey in the mountains continued, and I believe his adventure culminated when he met the dragon named Jin Dao, who would rise to become the first Dragon Master. You see, we know that Jin Dao had 4 students who he trained in the art of Kung Fu, so I assume Oogway must have embraced him as a student for some time before he used Oogway's teachings to form a collection of heroes who became known as the 4 Constellations. Now, it's important to realize that Jin Dao wasn't evil when he began his life. Together, Jin Dao and his 4 pupils were actually so good, wise, and powerful that the universe forged within each of them a unique kind of spiritual energy known as Hero's Chi. What's really cool is that the episode that introduced Hero's Chi originally was titled Enter the Dragon in the series Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, and the continued exploration of Hero's Chi and the origins of the Dragon Warrior began again in Kung Fu Panda The Paws of Destiny in the pilot titled Enter the Dragon Master. So even though these series were separated by years and were created for 2 completely different companies, The Paws of Destiny continued elements of the original Kung Fu Panda series that came before it, and I love that connection. Now, each of the 5 warriors received different colored chi. The dragon student received blue chi, red went to the phoenix, white was bestowed to the tiger, black was given to the tortoise, and Jin Dao accepted the golden chi. With that power, they could increase their kung fu skills, enhance their chi moves, and unleash cosmic abilities unlike anyone else across China. And at first, they used those powers for good. Unfortunately though, Jin Dao faced a similar fate to Kai as he became corrupted by the golden chi that he had been bestowed with, as his thirst for power eventually became unquenchable. And in his need for power, he set his sights on taking the Wellspring and its unlimited chi for himself. Of course though, Oogway wasn't going to let the Dragon Master take over the world while he was alive, so he commissioned a close friend of his to create an enchanted spirit urn to trap Jin Dao. But the urn would not make it to the 4 constellations before the Dragon Master attacked the Wellspring. The 4 warriors desperately wanted to get Oogway a scroll to tell him that they would be unable to imprison their master, but the 4 constellations' battle with the Dragon Master erupted too soon for them to spread the truth. All they could do was cast away Jin Dao's soul from his body and hide and lock away the Wellspring from the rest of the world. But their sacrifice also resulted in the pandas becoming disconnected from their purpose as guardians, and the 4 constellations' own Hero's Chi was left trapped beneath the panda village. Now, while the Golden Hero's Chi may have been formed within the first Dragon Master, Hero's Chi could be stolen or passed on like all Chi in the universe. Sure, Jin Dao's evil existence continued, but the Hero's Chi he had coveted was separated from him and passed on when his soul was ripped from his body. The result left him in a weakened state for hundreds of years to come. Jin Dao eventually entered the body of a vulture and sustained his mortal life by stealing the chi from other warriors, which began some of the legends surrounding the Dragon Warrior.
It is said that the Dragon Warrior can survive for months at a time on nothing but the dew of a single ginkgo leaf and the energy of the universe.
While Jin Dao built up an army of acolytes and began plotting for his return to power, the golden chi from the original Dragon Master was given by the universe as a gift to Oogway. The powerful life force of the Dragon Warrior would now be bestowed once every generation, and it now burned after the original master fell to darkness within the wisest, most humble, and brave hero the world had ever seen. Why why Oogway wasn't bestowed with Hero's Chi originally is completely a mystery to us. Although it might be because the wellspring was providing energy and power to the warriors that were around them. Maybe since Jin Dao and the four constellations resided around the wellspring, they were given the Hero's Chi first. But regardless, with this new power, Oogway fought off the demons that had been existing in the Valley of Peace for centuries. He battled the soldiers of the underworld and sealed them away using his Hero's Chi. But the most powerful demon and the ruler of their kind, their king, Ki Pa, was not so easily defeated. When Oogway faced Ki Pa, he was almost destroyed when his Chi was completely drained, but the Peach Tree of Heavenly Wisdom protected him by granting him the powers of heaven and earth. He overcame Ki Pa's demon powers and was eventually able to trap that dragon in the mortal body of a pig.
Master Oogway, I haven't seen him since he chased Ki Pa the Demon King out of the Valley of Peace.
In the location where the demons were locked away, the Jade Palace was built in Oogway's honor, while its architectural designs took inspiration from the Temple of the Wellspring, complete with a calm, shallow pool at the end of the palace's main chamber. In that sacred place, Oogway conjured a prophecy that a new dragon warrior would rise again, and he forged the Dragon Scroll to showcase how that warrior could unlock limitless power. And when the time came where a large enough threat called for the dragon warrior to be found, a big panda was delivered to the Jade Palace by the universe, who was granted Oogway's golden hero's chi when Oogway passed on.
The universe passed the hero's chi to one of you.
It's you. You have the hero's chi.
You see, Po was the perfect choice to become the Dragon Warrior because he had the capacity to become a noble and capable warrior and teacher, and he was born from the Panda Guardians who had protected the Wellspring from foes like Jin Dao for thousands of years. Therefore, there was no one better to be destined to defeat evil across China, which of course included him facing the original Dragon Master. Now, don't be confused, the Golden Hero's Chi wasn't the source of all of Po's strength. He was still an average panda when he was chosen to be the Dragon Warrior, but his soul was unique to everyone around him. The hero's chi didn't make Po unstoppable. It was an ability that had to be trained. The energy within him could be drained like any other, and there were few moments it was even unleashed by the will of the universe before he became a master of chi. What truly gave Po his might was his powerful heart.
Nothing can change who you are inside.
Po required inner peace to defeat Lord Shen. Similarly to Oogway, Po required the might of a new sproutling from the original Peach Tree of Heavenly Wisdom after the original tree died to defeat Ki Pa forever. And when Po unleashed his chi against Kai, he summoned a dragon because of the support of his students and the reality that Po's soul was that of a dragon. Years later, when Jin Dao revealed himself again, Po even showcased he could become a dragon himself when he was untethered from his body in the spirit realm. With Jin Dao's golden hero's chi finally being discovered again within Po, the first Dragon Master became obsessed over taking it back, along with all of the hero's chi from the four constellations, believing that all of that power would allow him to finally seize the Wellspring. In fact, Jin Dao even successfully took Po's chi, but through the Dragon Warrior's own might, he restored the hero's chi within himself. Po could not be stopped by the original Dragon Master. Together with his four panda pupils who had embraced the four constellations' hero's chi, they were able to imprison Jin Dao in the spirit urn that had been built for him 1,000 years ago, and they hid that artifact deep within the spirit realm. The origin of the Dragon Warrior began in darkness, but Oogway protected that power and ensured that the next Dragon Warrior would be a savior for China. Oogway redefined the legacy of the Dragon Warrior and established the path for a new hero to rise. Fun people, consider subscribing for more Kung Fu Panda
Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson, and I'm focused on spreading magic by discussing Disney DreamWorks and animation. And for some reason, the fate of Tai Lung was never addressed after Po used the Wuxi finger hold to defeat him. In a blink, Tai Lung completely vanished from the world, and we later find out, when the Dragon Warrior confronts Kai, that as a mortal, Tai Lung was sent to the spirit realm using this chi-based move. While this initially completely blew my mind, I loved finding out what happened to Tai Lung. I felt intrigued by another question. Did Kai steal Tai Lung's chi in the spirit realm? And of course, if you are new here and you'd like to join this community of Kung Fu warriors, then consider subscribing. Also, if you'd like to come chat about the villains of the Valley of Peace with me, I'm beginning to stream often on Twitch, and for example, I'm streaming tonight, this Wednesday. In Kung Fu Panda 3, we come to learn about the spirit warrior Kai, who mastered the manipulation of chi with Oogway 500 years before the rise of the Dragon Warrior. But once Kai decided to use these new abilities to take the chi from others to empower himself, Master Oogway was forced to make the decision to defeat his friend, sending him to the spirit realm. There Kai remained, growing more powerful as he took the chi of every legendary Kung Fu master that entered the spirit realm, including the Master Badger twins, Master Porcupine, and even Tai Lung, which I was really happy to find. Once we knew that Po had banished Tai Lung to the spirit realm, it seemed inevitable that Kai would have found and confronted that snow leopard. And studying the chains that were bound to Kai, we can see that the snow leopard appears along them, showing us that Tai Lung likely had his chi stolen. From what we've seen, the former student of Shifu was likely beaten, but I think that makes sense. While Tai Lung was one of the most feared warriors that had ever come out of the Jade Palace, so of course Kai would target the young warrior when he arrived in the spirit realm, he was also not invincible. I'm sure at that point in Kai and Tai Lung's life, Tai Lung didn't stand a chance. Still though, I think it would have been an awesome spirit realm battle. Tai Lung was a highly skilled individual with great strength, determination, and ferocity. I mean, the occasionally cynical, serious, and hardened Master Shifu even believed Tai Lung to be the Dragon Warrior himself. So my guess is that his chi was something Kai would have craved. I would love to see this fight in animation. I understand that it really wouldn't have propelled the plot forward in Kung Fu Panda 3, but that would have made one amazing bonus feature short because Kai and Tai Lung were two formidable warriors that nearly brought the Valley of Peace to destruction. At that point though, Kai had already spent hundreds of years collecting the chi of masters across time, so it's likely that there was very little Tai Lung could have done to take down the warlord of China. With the power of those masters flowing through Kai, the rage and might of Tai Lung would have had very little potential to stop that ancient warrior. Yeah, I'm calling out your age, Kai. You were an old guy, but you were also pretty tough and had a very cool musical theme. Man, anytime you heard dun 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 dun, you just knew it was going down. Kai was a super cool villain. That's what I'm trying to say. As for why Kai never used Tai Lung against the many masters of the mortal realm, well, Kai didn't actually ever use all of his Jade zombies, which I think was likely done so that he could continue to overwhelm any mortal that he faced. Sending away all of his chi would have left him vulnerable to other skilled warriors, which is why I think he kept Oogway, Tai Lung, and other masters on him throughout his battles. I believe Kai was hoping to dominate everyone with the stolen chi. Plus, I just like to believe that Tai Lung had one of the strongest chis, so of course Kai would hold on to some and would send other fallen warriors to do his bidding, including some of the extremely powerful masters like Shifu, who he literally became supercharged by when his chi was taken. I think Kai wanted to hold on to the powerful chi of Tai Lung. Honestly, the biggest question for me now is, what has become of Tai Lung after Kai's destruction by the hands of the Dragon Warrior? Will he be able to fight Po one day again? Will he ever return to the mortal realm like Kai did? Will he ever confront Oogway? Or is Tai Lung going to remain in the spirit realm for the rest of eternity? How does Tai Lung recover from knowing he was once believed to be the Dragon Warrior and fell to become a pawn for another master's revenge? Maybe Tai Lung will rise again, which I would love to see happen, or maybe his fall from grace has only just begun. But let me know down below what your thoughts and theories are surrounding Kai's confrontation with Tai Lung. Also make sure to subscribe and click the beautiful bell, and then click on another magical video down in the description or on the screen. And finally, as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day. Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson. I'm focused on discussing fun topics for fun people, and today I want to explore the tragic full story of General Kai. You see, 500 years before the Dragon Warrior rose to become a master of Kung Fu, Kai was given control over a great army, but he wasn't alone. Kai fought alongside Oogway, his brother-in-arms and his closest friend, and together, the duo marched across China and established themselves across the world as formidable warriors and thoughtful leaders. Kai especially stood out amongst the two of them, as he became known at that time in history as the supreme warlord of all China. But inevitably, every name Kai was given would eventually be forgotten. You see, after Kai and Oogway's army was ambushed, Oogway became mortally injured, leading Kai to carry his friend for days high into the mountains looking for help until they discovered a secret village of pandas. In that ancient place of healing, the pandas healed Oogway using the power of Qi, and once he was healed, both Kai and Oogway were taught how to use this spiritual energy. But while Oogway focused on unlocking how to give Qi, Kai became obsessed with taking the power for himself, leading to his eyes glowing green, which symbolizes his blinding desire for more. Instead of striving to find balance, Kai fell to his dark tendencies as he became singularly focused on the selfish and destructive path he was going down. Now, why Qi corrupted Kai is never truly explained, but to me, I think it makes sense that he would rise to become the Jade Slayer, the Master of Pain, and the Maker of Widows because of his experiences seeing Oogway almost die. He was a young bull when he became a hero of China, but no matter the accolades or the victories he had, nonetheless, he was unable to protect his brother from every threat. Seeing Oogway almost die meant that Kai finally knew that he wasn't all-powerful, and I think that scared him. While Oogway wanted to ensure that he could heal the world, I think Kai decided that he never wanted anyone he loved to suffer or die from any enemy that opposed him, so he decided to take the Qi of others to protect his family. But when Oogway saw that Kai was stealing Qi for himself, he couldn't allow that to continue, and what followed was a battle that shook the earth, which ended in Kai being banished to the spirit realm. The very person Kai was willing to do anything to protect was the very person who took his life away, leaving him full of loneliness and rage.
I loved him like a brother, and he betrayed me.
At that point, Kai took on the titles of the Jade Slayer, the Collector, and in China he was known as Tian Sha, meaning ferocious spirit from heaven. Now that Oogway had cut ties with his friend, I think it was here that Kai's transition from war hero to unhinged spirit warrior became solidified, because he had no more connections to his humanity. He was on his own and no longer could exist as a mortal being, which led him to take action for hundreds of years in hopes of undoing Oogway's acts against him. In hopes of taking vengeance upon Oogway, Kai forged 2 jade blades on chains, scoured the spirit realm for kung fu masters he could confront, and stole the Qi from each and every warrior who existed in that world until the day finally came where he was strong enough to confront Oogway again. On his own, Oogway was able to counter many of Kai's moves against him, but nothing could have kept Kai from taking Oogway's Qi that day. The reason he's doing everything is because he feels like Oogway hurt him. And that's what I think was the most interesting thing about diving into his character, was trying to get into those layers of why did he feel like Oogway was betraying him? While Oogway did joke around with his former friend, nonetheless, he was in pain seeing how far he had fallen.
When will you realize the more you take, the less you have?
Oogway could see that he would eventually crumble from his pursuit of power and the vanity that had replaced his good nature by the warrior he had chosen before he had passed on to the spirit realm. Once Kai was in possession of Oogway's Qi, he hung him close to his heart, swore to stop the warrior who was sent on a path to defeat him, and then used all of the power he had acquired to return to the mortal world. As soon as he arrived in China, the reality that he had been erased from history became clear to him, while Oogway's role in the world had become solidified in everyone's minds. That's why once his jade zombies, or jombies as Po calls them, are sent out into the world to find Oogway's pupils, Kai becomes focused on tearing apart his former friend's legacy. He swore to destroy everything he had created. Now, the reason I think Kai wanted to dethrone Oogway as a legendary warrior comes from his own pain, arrogance, and jealousy. Kai believed his actions to acquire power were meant to be used for good, but because Oogway disagreed, all of his heroic actions were ripped out of history.
I will not let you destroy Oogway's memory.
Why not? He destroyed mine.
That also feels incredibly unfair to him because he's convinced himself he's infinitely more powerful than Oogway ever was, because he is able to use the chi of many masters. But even with those good intentions and his strength, the villagers across China nonetheless adore the memories of his brother-in-arms, who he felt betrayed him. To try to make amends for this erasure, since he feels that if he would have been able to live out his life 500 years ago, that he would be the warrior that the world remembers, I think Kai foolishly believes that he can use his current power to undo Oogway's impact in the world. Kai is blinded to the fact that Oogway is powerful because of his impact into the people that he interacted with, and that's the same reason that Po is able to defeat him. And that's something that he just isn't able to fully internalize into himself, of why he can't actually destroy Oogway's legacy. I don't think titles or praise were the reason Kai went down the path of acquiring power, but I think his frustration with his enemy being remembered as a hero, mixed with the vain belief that he could shape the universe with the spiritual energy he possessed, led him to desire to be seen again as the supreme warlord of all China.
There will be no one left who will even remember your name.
Is coming!
Now, while I acknowledge Kai needed to be stopped once he returned to the mortal world, I feel really conflicted about Kai's origins and about the role Oogway played in creating this villain. To me, it seems like Kai did everything for Oogway, but no action he took was ever the correct one, which led to him and his tale being hidden from the world by his friend. It seems like during the mortal life of Kai, he was making mistakes like Po's father's and was only met with violence and banishment.
Sometimes we do the wrong things for the right reasons.
But do you think Oogway handled Kai as best as he could, or do you think he only helped push the spirit warrior into the monster he became? Regardless of Kai's creation though, on his journey to Oogway's home, the Jade Palace, he discovered the Dragon Warrior, stripped the chi of every master he could find, which I've made multiple discussions about that I've linked in the description if you'd like to see an in-depth look at every warrior he defeated. And inevitably, Kai confronted the students who were closest to his former friend. Approaching the temple his brother had constructed, Kai mocked Oogway and the warriors who praised him.
Look at you pathetic fools, groveling at the feet of Oogway the Magnificent.
Showing that his respect for his friend and the mortals of this world had completely vanished. Quickly, Kai and his zombies took down Shifu and the remaining members of the Furious Five, only falling for a moment when Tigress used an enhanced chi kick. After that moment, he used the full extent of his power to take down the masters, allowing him to use his chains and blades to throw Oogway's statue into the Jade Palace, destroying much of the knowledge the Kung Fu master left his students to protect. But once the Jade Palace had fallen, the only remaining objective Kai had left for himself was to defeat the warrior who had been chosen by Oogway to defeat him. Tracking Po to the hidden panda village in the mountains, he goes after the Dragon Warrior with an army of zombies, but is shocked to find they are being fought off by a panda army, which completely disorients him until he's forced to focus on an attack by Po. While the Dragon Warrior tried to Wuxi fingerhold Kai into the spirit realm, he isn't affected by the technique as a spirit warrior, giving him an opportunity to recall the chi of the masters and beat down Po. Towering over Po, at first he believes he has won, but Po is able to realize that he can drag them both to the spirit realm by Wuxi fingerholding himself. Enraged that he was in the spirit realm again, Kai furiously attacks Po and begins to take his chi for himself until the Dragon Warrior resists his attack. Embedded with the chi of his students, Po unleashes the full power he now possesses, resulting in the destruction of Kai's weapons, a horrible beatdown against Kai, and a declaration by Kai stating that he will hunt Po's chi for another 500 years if he has to. Kai spent the majority of his existence craving power, attempting to vanquish his enemies and obsessing over his revenge against his closest friend, and he was willing to commit the rest of his existence to defeat the warrior Oogway had sent his way, but he would not be given that time. Knowing Kai desired his chi, Po gives him the power that he had sought after, but instead of becoming omnipotent, Kai is overwhelmed by the energy that coursed through him, leading to his spirit being erased in an explosion of light. Fun people, make sure to subscribe for more magical discussions. Let me know which characters you'd like me to break down next. Check out my
The dance you all can do. Let me introduce to you posing. Everybody pose. Here's a dance you all can do. Let me introduce to you posing. Everybody pose.